Hello everyone. Today I am going to start Medicinal Chemistry 2, that is of 5th semester B1. According to its syllabus, I am going to discuss about antihistaminic agents. There are two lectures for this topic, and in today's lecture 1, I will discuss about brief view of autocoids, histamine, and introduction as well as classification of antihistaminic agents. So first of all, what is autocoids? Here our topic of interest is histamine, right? And histamine is one type of autocoids present in body. The term autocoids is derived from the Greek words auto and eikos. Auto means self and eikos means healing substance or self remedy, right? So autocoids means self healing substance or self remedy. They are diverse substances produced by wide variety of cells in the body. They have intense biological activity, right? And they are known as local hormones. Why they are known as local hormones? Because they act locally, right? Where they are synthesized and released at that site, they also act, right? So that for autocoids, site of synthesis, release and action are same. That's why they are known as the local hormones, right? They are differ from hormones in two ways. For example, hormones are produced by some specific cells, while autocoids produced by wide variety of cells, right? Second difference is that hormones are transported through circulation, through blood circulation, right, throughout the body to reach at the site of action or at the tissue where they produces its pharmacological action or biological activity, right? While autocoids act locally where they synthesize as well as release, right? So there are two differences between local hormones and hormones, right? Autocoids are also involved in number of physiological and pathological processes, especially for example injury and immunological reactions, right? Even they are also serve as transmitter or modulator in the nervous system, right? So these are the common characteristic of the autocoids. Remember two things. They are local, known as local hormones. They act locally, right, and produced by wide variety of cells, right, and involved in different types of pathological reactions as well as physiological reactions, right. Now there are different autocoids are present in our body. Remember, sometimes it written as auto, sometimes it written as ota. Both are same, autocoids or autocoids, right? And they are different types of autocoids present in our body, right? Here one classification of autocoids is given, that is based upon its chemical nature, its source of preparation or synthesis, as well as its action. For example, biologically active amines, right, which are amines in nature, chemically amines and biologically active molecule. Then lipid derived autocoids, these autocoids are derived from the lipid source. Next, vasoactive polypeptides, right, they are polypeptide in nature and its main action on vascular system. Then natriuretic peptide. These are also peptide in nature, right? And its action mainly on the kidney and uresis process. Last one is endothelium derived otacoids. They are derived from the endothelium. See example, histamine and serotonin are the example of biologically active amines, right? They are amines in nature. Chemically they are amines. Next, prostaglandins, leukotrienes and thromboxane are lipid derived otocoids. They are derived from the lipid. Next, kinins, angiotensin and endothelin are the vasoactive polypeptides. Their action is mainly on vascular system. Next, vasopressin and substance P are natriuretic peptide and they mainly act on kidney. Next, nitric oxide is example of endothelium derived otocoids, right? So these are the different type of otocoids which are available in body. Here, out of different otocoids, our interested otocoids is histamine, right? Because we will discuss about the antihistaminic agents. So first we should understand about the histamine. Histamine is chemically beta-imidazole ethyl amine. Here structure of histamine is given. See, imidazole ring, that is heterocyclic ring, 5-membered heterocyclic ring with 2 nitrogen atom at 1,3 position, that is imidazole ring, is present on beta position of ethyl amine, right? Carbon directly attached to the functional group is known as alpha carbon. Here functional group is amino group, amine group, right? So carbon adjacent to the amino group is alpha and carbon adjacent to this alpha carbon, that is beta, right? So here in ethylamine on beta carbon imidazole ring is substituted. That's why it is known as beta imidazole ethyl amine, right? Histamine is generally found in animal tissue, venoms, plant like ergot, right? Histamine means amine present in all tissue, right? Substance, amine substance that is present in all type of tissue. That's why it is named as histamine, right? And it is found in animal tissues, venoms and plant like ergot, right? There are 2 types of histamine, mast cell histamine and non-mast cell histamine. According to storage of histamine, it is named as mast and non-mast cell histamine, right? Histamine, which is stored within the granules of mast cell, are known as mast cell histamine, and this type of histamine rich tissues are skin, gastric and intestinal mucosa, lungs, liver and placenta, right? No mast cell histamine, that is the histamine which is stored other than the mast cell granules, right? They are known as the non-mast cell histamine, and this type of histamine is generally seen in brain. Now, synthesis, storage and destruction of histamine, right? Histamine is synthesized from amino acid histidine, right? On histidine, enzyme L-histidine decarboxylase act and produce histamine, right? See, in this reaction what happened? That is enzymatic decarboxylation, right? Here in amino acid histidine, 1 carboxylic acid group is present, right? So decarboxylation of this carboxylic acid group occur and it will form the histamine, right? This reaction is catalyzed by enzyme L-histidine decarboxylase. Next, storage and release. Right? In mast cell, histamine is generally stored. Right? How they stored in mast cell? See, in histamine structure, we have seen one amino group is present in histamine, right? Inside the body or mast cell, this amino group undergoes protonation and form positively charged ammonium ion NH3+, right? Positively charged ammonium ion. That's why histamine get positive charge, right? And in mast cell granules, there is acid protein like heparin is present, right? Which have carboxylic acid group, and on deprotonation, it produces carboxylate ion which is negatively charged, right? So, positively charged histamine is held by negatively charged acid protein or heparin within the intracellular granules of mast cell, right? When exocytosis of granules occur, then histamine is releases. How they releases? They get exchanged with sodium plus ion in extracellular fluid, right? As we seen that histamine is positively charged cation, right? So, positively charged histamine is get exchanged with positively charged sodium ion, right, in extracellular fluid, and it be released, right? Again, increase in intracellular concentration of cyclic AMP inhibits release of histamine, right? Histamine is orally inactive because when histamine is taken orally, then from the intestine it gets absorbed and reach to the liver, right? When it reaches to the liver degrades this type of histamine which is absorbed from the intestine, right? So that histamine is orally inactive, right? So it is storage and release of histamine. Next one is degradation of histamine, right? Histamine is start to degrade with the help of two enzymes. First, with the help of N-methyl transferase, N-methylation of histamine occur and it will form N-methyl histamine, right? See what happened this reaction. Hydrogen from the nitrogen of histamine is replaced with methyl group, right? And it forms the N-methyl histamine. On N-methyl histamine, again, second enzyme, that is monoamino oxidase B, act and cause oxidation of amino group and form N-methyl imidazole acetic acid, right? Monoamino oxidase, right? This enzyme causes generally oxidation of amino group, right? So here amino group get oxidized and converted into acidic group, and molecule is converted into N-methyl imidazole acetic acid, right? In second way, histamine undergoes oxidation with the help of diamine oxidase enzyme and converted into imidazole acetic acid. Again, amino group get oxidized and converted into carboxylic acid group, so that histamine is converted into imidazole acetic acid. In this molecule, ribose molecule is incorporated with the help of enzyme phosphoribosyl transferase, right? And form molecule imidazole acetic acid riboside, right? Here, ribose is incorporated at the place of hydrogen, right? Hydrogen is replaced with this ribose molecule with the help of enzyme phosphoribosyl transferase, right? So it is the degradation of histamine. Now, stereochemistry of histamine. Histamine shows conformational isomerism. Conformational isomerism is one type of stereoisomerism, right? So, histamine shows the conformational isomerism. In histamine, as the same structure, 2 carbon, that is ethyl group, is present, right? So, rotation of single bond between 2 carbon atom of ethyl group of histamine produce the different conformers, right? Out of them, here 2 conformers are drawn, that is trans or anti and gauche. Trans is also called as anti-conformer, right? So 2 conformer are present here, trans and gauche, right? See, these conformer are represented by using Newman projection, right? In which 2 carbon are considered majorly, right? Single bond between these 2 carbon is rotated and produces different type of conformers, right? So this 2 carbon is considered, near carbon is denoted as a dot and distal carbon is denoted as a circle, right? On near carbon, 2 hydrogen atom and 1 ammonium group is attached, while on distal carbon 2 hydrogen atom and 1 imidazoline group is attached, right? This is anti or trans conformer. In gauche conformer, same, in near carbon 2 hydrogen atom and 1 ammonium group is attached, and on distal carbon 2 hydrogen atom and 1 imidazoline ring attached, right? Now, see in both conformer, what is the difference? That is the position of large group on both carbon, right? In anti-form or trans form, these 2 large groups are far from each other, right? So, there is a less steric hindrance and less energy, that's why it is more stable, right? Now, it compare with gauche. In gauche conformation, 2 large group are nearer as compared to anti-conformer. That's why there is a more steric hindrance and more energy and less stable than anti-form, right? These 2 conformation are important for its biological activity or pharmacological action, right? Trans conformer is generally bound with H1 and H2 receptors, while gauche conformer binds with H2 and H3 receptors, right? Next, histamine receptors. There are different 4 types of histamine receptor, H1, H2, H3 and H4, right? H1 receptors are located in smooth muscle, endothelial, CNS and heart, right? And their transduction mechanism is through G protein coupled receptor with the help of intracellular G9, right? When stimulation of H1 receptor occur, it causes increase in vascular permeability and cause inflammation, right? 2-methylhistamine is used as an agonist for H1 receptor, right? Antagonists for H1 receptors are diphenhydramine, cetirizine, maclizine, buclizine, etc. Then H2 receptor are located in gastric parietal cells, neutrophils, CNS and heart, right? Its transduction mechanism is through G protein coupled receptor linked to intracellular G5. Its effect is increase in release of gastric acid, right? Agonist for H2 receptor is 4-methylhistamine. And antagonist for H2 receptors are ranitidine, cimetidine, famotidine, and nizatidine, etc. Right? H3 receptors are located in central nervous system, especially in thalamus and cortex, as well as in intestine. Its transduction mechanism is also by G protein coupled receptor linked to intracellular GI subunit, right? And when H3 receptor gets stimulated, it may release histamine, right? So stimulation of H3 receptor causes release of histamine. Agonist for H3 receptor is alpha methylhistamine, and antagonist for H3 receptors are thiopyramide, ciproxifene, cloben, propit, etc. Right? H4 receptors are located in immune system, for example, spleen and thymus. Right? Its transduction mechanism is not well known, right? But assume that it may also produces response through G protein coupled receptor, right? Its effect is also unknown and generally is targeted for the treatment of autoimmune diseases, right? Agonist for H4 receptor is N-methylhistamine, and antagonist of H4 receptor is denoted here by one code because it is under the clinical trial. So these are these different histamine receptor, their location, their type of transduction mechanism, effect, agonist as well as antagonist, right? Then pharmacological actions of histamine, right? First one, on blood vessels. They cause marked dilation of small blood vessels, for example, arterioles, capillaries and venules, right? Larger vessels, blood vessels get constricted by histamine, right? For example, arteries and veins, right? Arteries and veins are constricted by histamine, right? Histamine also cause increase in capillary permeability due to separation of endothelial cells, right? And cause the inflammation. On visceral smooth muscles, histamine cause bronchoconstriction, right? And this response is due to the stimulation of H1 receptor, so that asthmatic patients are sensitive to histamine, right? Then on glands, it causes increase in acid secretion, especially in stomach. It increases acid secretion, and this response is due to stimulation of H2 receptor, right? Then action on sensory nerve endings. Itching occurs when histamine is injected, right? Histamine causes the itching. So these are the main pharmacological action of histamine in body. Next, uses of histamine. Histamine has no therapeutic uses. There are several diagnostic use of histamine. For example, histamine is used for testing of acid secreting capacity of stomach, right? It is also used to test bronchial hypersensitivity in asthmatic patients, right? Then antihistaminic agents. The action of histamine can be antagonized by using substances that block competitively the histamine sensitive receptor. Such substances are known as antihistaminic agents, right? So antihistaminic agents cause blockage of histamine receptor, and that's why also block the action of histamine, right? So antihistaminic agent cause the competitive inhibition of the histamine receptor, and that's why its action or its pharmacological response is inhibited. The term antihistamine antihistaminic agent is generally used for the H1 receptor antagonist, right? Keep in mind that thing, H1 receptor antagonist is generally termed as antihistaminic agent, right? For the H2 receptor antagonist, H2 blocker term is used, right? So H1 receptor antagonists are antihistaminic agents and H2 receptor antagonists are H2 blockers. Now classification of antihistaminic agents, that means classification of H1 receptor antagonist, right? There is different 4 classes for antihistaminic agent, main 3 classes: first generation antihistaminic, second generation antihistaminics and third generation antihistaminic agents, right? Fourth one is miscellaneous agent, that is mast cell stabilizers, right? They are not purely H1 receptor antagonists, but they are mast cell stabilizers. That's why it affects the storage of histamine, right? And these 3 drugs, first generation, second generation and third generation as antihistaminic agents, directly competitively block the histamine, right? In first generation antihistaminic agents, there are again different 6 classes. First one is alkyl amine ether, second one is ethylene diamines, third one is piperazines, fourth one is propyl amines, fifth one is phenothiazines and sixth one is phenothiazine analogues, right? So these are the 6 subclasses for first generation antihistaminic agents. Examples of first generation antihistaminic agents with its subclass: see, first alkyl amine ether. Examples are diphenhydramine, doxylamine, clemastine and diphenpyrroline, right? Here right side to the name of drug, structure of that specific drug is given, right? See in structure, they are alkyl amine ether. So in all structure, alkyl amine ether structure, basic structure is present, right? Here ether group is present, right? On both side of oxygen of ether, alkyl group is present, and alkyl group is attached with amine group, right? So that's why they are alkyl amine ether, right? In all structure, this basic structure alkyl amine ether is present, right? Diphenhydramine, doxylamine, clemastine and diphenpyrroline, as well as dimenhydrinate, right? Second subclass of first generation antihistaminic is ethylene diamines. Example is triphenamine hydrochloride. Ethylene diamines, that means ethylene bridge attached with 2 amine group, right? Here same structure, this 2 amino nitrogen is separated by ethylene bridge CH2, right? That's why ethylene it is ethylene diamine derivative, and example is triphenamine hydrochloride. Third subclass of first generation antihistaminic agent is piperazines, right? In these drugs, piperazine heterocyclic ring is present in all structures. See, chlorcyclizine, buclizine and moclizine, right? In all structure, piperazine ring is present. 6-membered heterocyclic ring with 2 nitrogen atom at 1,4 position, right? Next one is fourth subclass of first generation antihistaminic agent, that is propyl amine. Example are chlorpheniramine, triprolidine and phenidamine, right? In structure of these drugs, propylamine basic structure is present, right? Propyl, that means 3 carbon chain which is attached with amino group, right? See here, 1, 2, 3 carbon attached, 3 carbon chain attached with amino group. Same in triptyridine and here, right? In these two structure, amino group is part of heterocyclic ring, right? Fifth subclass is phenothiazine, right? In which phenothiazine ring is present. Example are promethazine and trimethazine, right? This 3 fused ring is promethazine structure, 2 benzene ring attached through sulfur and nitrogen to each other, right? So it is phenothiazine ring, and these drugs are phenothiazine derivative, promethazine and trimethazine. Sixth and last subclass of first generation antihistaminic is phenothiazine analogues. Examples are cyproheptadine and azatidine, right? In this structure, they are not actually phenothiazines, but it has the structure like phenothiazine. That's why they are known as phenothiazine analogues. Next main class is second generation antihistaminic agents. These are the example of a second generation antihistaminic agent: estimizole, loratadine and cetirizine, right? Right side to the name of drug, structures are given. First one is estimizole, second one is loratadine, and third one is cetirizine, right? Next main class is third generation antihistaminic agents. Examples are levocetirizine, desloratadine and fexofenadine. Here structure of levocetirizine is given, right? It is the enantiomer of cetirizine, levoenantiomer of cetirizine. Last class, that is miscellaneous mast cell stabilizer. Example is cromolyn sodium. Here structure of cromolyn sodium is given, right? Next, description of the antihistaminic drugs we will see in next lecture. Thank you.